Hello everybody, this is Kokosing Valley Model Railroad speaking. Well, we're going to do a couple things. I've always wanted to show you guys some of my railroad equipment on my 1/8 scale railroad I'm starting to build. I've got 10 feet of rail ready to go. I've got a hand car, chassis to another locomotive, which be selling that off, this really huge chassis. Number 55 is going in for a rebuild and overhaul, so it's going in for a major overhaul for the season. So been really busy with that project and hopefully getting her put back together in some new paint. And then you got the tank, the new armored locomotive I own. Weighs right around 1,000 pounds. This little engine weighs about 500 pounds. And then I've got two gondolas, a Reading and a Baltimore, Ohio gondola, wood in style. Old school trucks, you have to fill them up with grease like old style freight cars do. So this engine will be going in for another overhaul. So this engine here is called the tank because it's an armored locomotive. No designs, nothing, a freelance design. Bought this engine used up in Toledo, Ohio. My first engine I got was in Galion, Ohio, from a track called the Buckeye Model Rail Engineers, which I'll not talk about that railroad anymore. So I've been doing some sketches and drawings and seeing what I need to do. So the locomotive has been recently, the engine has been starting to clean it up for the winter. It's going in for an oil change. One of the engine parts moved on it, so I need to tighten that up. There's an Allen key. Then the spark plug will go off and be cleaned up as well. This is the original spark plug. It's been on the locomotive ever since. Going to be redoing the exhaust system and then insulating the fuel tank so it doesn't boil when it runs. Then you have my tools. I have several tools, and then the engine's been pulled out, so that's why all these bolts and screws are there. And there's the battery for it. So the locomotive is setting, number 55, and I've got my caboose, my drovers hiding back there in the corner. So this engine will not be going to the Mill Creek Central Railroad. It will be staying home for the season, being worked on. The tank, the new locomotive, will be sent down to the Mill Creek Central Railroad for the fall blowdown season. If you guys want to meet up on the railroad, it's in Coshocton, Ohio. Search and Google the Mill Creek Central Railroad. If anybody's going to be down there through the 7th through the 9th of October, all the way to the 10th of Sunday, welcome to anybody who wants to join me for a ride on the Mill Creek Central Railroad. So hopefully I'll have a few other things updated on the handcar project and maybe a few other things like the gondolas and stuff. And then hidden under here is another heavy flat car will be sold off at the Mill Creek Central Railroad. There are several other pieces of equipment. Like I said, 55 is in for her winter overhaul for the winter season. So she'll be getting some minor upgrades, maybe some rewiring inside the locomotive and a few other things. So yeah, there are a lot of projects going on in the shops here at the I was going to call it the Fred Railway or Fred Railroad Company engines. So honor my grandfather Fred Leedy. But I could call it the Bud Leedy Railroad, Bud Railroad. So the Bud Railroad, it might be named after my grandfather. So like I said, all these locomotives will be going in for winterizing. So the new locomotive has a front coupler. I just got that for the season for the Mill Creek Central Railroad. She's had a lot of modifications inside. Headlight, horn does not work. She's got a 4-speed transmission inside the locomotive. Sit behind the chair of the engine and I drive it. And I hope everybody can come down to the Mill Creek Central Railroad and see this engine in action someday. Hope to see you guys on the railroad soon. This is Kokosing Valley Model Railroad signing out.